Hello, welcome to my channel, KC Sledge Storyteller. Carrie Chug here to talk about the wonderful world of storytelling and to open up discussion about how we can tell the best stories we possibly can. Now, I want to take the opportunity to invite all to check out Sledge number 1. The link to the order page is down there below. And anyway, last week's video continued our genre discussion. We talked about science fiction. And the subject for this week is Western. So the Western genre makes most of us think of cowboys, Indians, horses, and gunslinging. And there's much more to it than that. I'm sure we all know. But you can argue that it's the oldest American-born genre. I'd say rooted in the exuberant folk hero stories that started with Daniel Boone-inspired frontiersman, Natty Bumppo, weird name, in James Fenimore Cooper's novel Leatherstocking Tales. That was in 1823. But Natty, his story went that he was raised by Mohicans who adopted him, and he became a master of weapons and all things frontier in the Appalachian wilderness. And from there, Daniel Boone himself got portrayed in dime novels, as did David Crockett, later Buffalo Bill Cody and Kit Carson. They got fictionalized with all kinds of wild tales, as were Billy the Kid and Jesse James. But all these publications were massive hits for their time. But here's what you can say that from that point you would say that frontier was first romanticized. The heroes were sharpshooters and they wrestled bears, so arguably you can say this is where American superheroes were rooted. But above all, we get the idea of how timeless the human appetite for sensational heroism has been. Now, I know that you know that it doesn't stop at literature. For all the popularity literature enjoyed, Western movies captivated audiences by the 1940s with such movies as My Darling Clementine and Red River. Then in the 50s, Lone Ranger, Gunsmoke, and Rifleman, they blew the lid off the whole TV world. So all during this time, the truths of the historical frontier got lost amid the media's portrayal of it, and that's the basic criticism that we often hear. But I do believe that such filmmakers as John Ford made an honest effort to give realistic depictions of the Old West. They weren't perfect, but morally they weren't always black and white. But what's cool about the Western genre, it has a wide spectrum of global regions and historical periods that can be used. History had frontiers in the Appalachian region of colonial and early U.S. history, and you can look at the various cross-country pioneer treks. When you think about it, every U.S. state had a frontier at some point. I've often been curious, how did it all settle in Detroit like? But Mexico and South America, they had a frontier. Heck, we know from the Man from Snow River that Australia had one. What's key there is whatever time and place you choose, you do your research on the history and the geography and even the animal and plant life. Even if you don't use that last part of it that I just mentioned, acquainting yourself with that will help you feel more comfortable in using the chosen setting. Also keep in mind what has become cliche in that world, and there have been a lot of them, but most notably you got the lone gunman who makes his way into an oppressed frontier town, and everybody flocks to him for leadership to overcome that oppression. Like Louis L'Amour had such stories, among many, like The Iron Marshal and Man from Skibbereen. Those were two of my favorites from him. John Wayne did several of those movies, like in the 40s, The War of the Wildcats and Tall in the Saddle. And of course, Clint Eastwood made his first big mark in Hollywood with his Man Without a Name movies. But then on a similar note, you have the ragtag bunch of tough guys, the Magnificent Seven and the Wild Bunch. That's what comes to everybody's mind when they think about that. But then there's the principled, heroic sheriff made famous by Gary Cooper's High Noon, and I also love John Wayne's Rio Bravo. But I'm not saying don't do this kind of story, but know about what's been done before in the effort to bring something new and original. That doesn't feel like there's all that much to say. I mean, you know, you got the neo-Western, where you bring that to modern day sensibilities, but even since No Country for Old Men, people become connected enough that that's not as easy to do. Go ahead and embrace that challenge if you want to. But that's my insight on the Westerns, and thank you for watching. And if you like this video, please click like. If you like this channel, please click subscribe and share this channel with a friend. I hope this can get some discussion going. Agree, disagree, something I didn't mention, please comment below. We'll keep hoping that, I keep saying it, that the society can turn back to normal soon and safely. But let's remain mindful of our habits, wash our hands, avoid touching our faces, keep our distance, 6 feet social distancing, wear masks in public, and stay home if you get sick. But for Westerns today, that's all. Have a great day.